Jackson Radio Show.
There are, in my house in St. Louis, my neighbor has, what's it called? Bamboo. And I don't know if you've ever worked with bamboo, seen it grow. It's it looks beautiful when you see it in the jungle. It really does. It's an amazing plant. And I had no idea about bamboo until I moved into that house in St. Louis, and my neighbor had a bamboo forest, and it was along the fence line. And I'm trying to grow grass in my backyard, and suddenly bamboo starts coming up, through my grass. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm cutting these bamboo stalks down. By the way, bamboo grows at a crazy rate. I'm talking about it like a foot a week. It just, and it can start out as a little sprout, a little thin sprout. And not only does it grow, in height, it grows in thickness. And when it gets to a certain thickness, it is a weapon. They make, rattan furniture and all that stuff. When you put it in the, cook it and do everything to it, it is tough stuff. So long story short, I got this bamboo forest that separates me from my neighbor, and birds get in it, and you can just hear them just nesting. I mean, it sounds like an apiary. It's crazy. I'm sorry. An apiary. Just crazy having these birds. You're out there, you can't barbecue. These birds are just noisy as heck. And they got all these nests up in there. So I meet my neighbor. I mean, we've been neighbors for a long time. And I said to him, Shaka, his name is Shaka. I said, hey, Shaka, what are we going to do about this bamboo, man? Because in the winter, it would loop over into my house and hit my power lines and my cable line. And it just, because this thing is like 25 feet, 30 feet tall, and it just bends over. And it would create, literally, I'm not kidding, it would create a tunnel that you could walk through, and it was loaded with snow. And when eventually it would fall and hit you, and stuff would hurt. It was just a mess. So he says, man, I put that up there because I couldn't stand my previous neighbors, because they carry on and all this other stuff. So I go, can we cut it down? He's like, yeah. So he got a job in D.C. and wasn't able to do it. Plus, he's an older black dude. So I'm like, I'll go chop it down. So I get a machete. I go to Home Depot, I buy a machete, and I start chopping this stuff down. And I would have to chop it down little by little. So I started cutting it down on the fence line where it would lean over into my yard. So I got a ladder, went over there. And I feel like I was in the jungles of Vietnam. I'm chopping this stuff down. And bamboo, when it gets high up there, it is tough, man. This machete, I'm going to town on this stuff. And so I'm cutting it at an angle. And I'm leaving these things like 2 feet high. And it dawns on me how the Vietnamese use bamboo to kill soldiers when they make those deadfalls, where you'd fall in it and you'd hit the bamboo, and it would just impale you. And you're going, Kevin, where are you going with this story? I'm getting to it. It turned out, so I would cut these things about 2.5 feet because it was at the rate where I could easily swing my machete. And I'm cutting back the forest little by little, and it's probably, 20 feet deep, and I'm only 2 feet in just to keep them from bending over my fence. And I look at this stuff and went, holy crap, this stuff could kill you. Because I would go back and forth on my ladder, and it took me days to get this done. And as I would fall off the ladder, I would go, dude, that could have killed you. So I cut them down, the same things. I cut them down to like 3 inches off the ground, where I could just whack and so you got all these sharp points on the ground. Then it got to where I couldn't see them. So I had to start wearing boots. I'm telling you how bad it was. I had to start wearing boots because you'd step on these things and they'd go through. Tennis shoes were nothing, man. You might as well, you were going to be dead if you did tennis shoes. So I'm cutting these things down. Long story short, I finally get the forest cut completely away, and I had to go back and trim all those things even so they wouldn't be like little shards of bamboo that could still kill you. And then by the way, you can't kill bamboo with like Roundup or anything like that. It doesn't kill it. It is a weed. It's beautiful elsewhere, but I want to be nowhere near it when it, in terms of like for decoration, because it's a pervasive plant. So where am I going with all this? a man fell on a 4-foot steel rod, and that steel rod went through his groin and up to his neck. He was impaled by a 4-foot steel rod. Rebar. Yeah, I know. That was a long way to get to it from the bamboo story, right? Yeah, but it sets it up. I think I built enough of a picture for you to understand what I'm talking about. Salim Sheikh was working on a construction site when he slipped and fell, and a rod pierced him through the scrotum, going up through the entire length of his body and emerging out of his collarbone. I hope this dude had Obamacare, because, man, that's going to cost him some money, isn't it? Scans revealed the rod had pierced his small intestine, his colon, his liver, his diaphragm, and lung, but surgeons were able to remove the pole during a 5-hour procedure. Wow. Look, this has nothing to do with politics. This is one of these human interest stories that, as a dude, when you see a story that says a 4-foot rod has gone through your scrotum and emerged from your neck, you take notice. And I know there are people, certainly dudes, we're out there listening to this story going, ooh, Kev, seriously, bro, come on, man. Because, yeah. Yes. But it made me think about that, because what happened was this guy, they got all that rebar. If you've seen how, have you guys seen how, like, buildings get made, and they have the rebar up there because they're going to add another, layer of concrete. And so in reinforced concrete, they put that rebar. This guy fell in a rebar, like a pit, like the Vietnamese would do to the soldiers in the Vietnam War or Vietnam conflict, whatever they call it. I was blown away, but I was more blown away that he survived. And by the way, this was in India. In India. This was not in America. This was in India, where they saved this dude's life. Let me tell you, you get stuck through the colon, the liver, the diaphragm, and the lung, and they save your life. I mean, this is some. I got a friend. I think I told you this. He's an acquaintance. I'm not gonna call him a friend because we fell out. We were friends, and then he ruined it. But he called me not long ago because I hadn't talked to him in a year, and he says his intestine exploded, and he's in the hospital. Doesn't know if he's gonna make it. And I mean, because he was, they cleaned him all out. He says, man, they had my guts on the table, and his intestine exploded for no reason. He was training and getting in good shape, and I saw pictures on his Facebook page, and he'd lost like 25 pounds and was ripped. And he used to be a stuntman in Hollywood, so he's a good-looking guy, getting his life together. Had gotten out of rehab and other stuff. This is back when we were friends. We talked all the time. But anyway, yeah, so it's a dangerous thing to get something like that go through your body, because all kinds of bacteria form. Godspeed to them both.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.